Howdy folks, and welcome back to another video. I'm sorry for the delay on this one. I haven't been feeling too good physically or mentally, and at the moment I'm sitting in bed recording this video with a raging headache and earache, and I can hardly hear anything. But I wanted to deliver anyways and make a video for you guys. Specifically, today I'm going to be talking about Animal Jam's art contests and my problem with some of them. I'm not talking about the contests that they do on their Instagram, like the Draw This in Your Style. Those are super cute and fun, and honestly, I like them quite a bit because they bring out a lot of engagement in the community. The art contests that I'm going to be talking about are specifically the ones in Animal Jam Play Wild, the result of which will give you an in-game item of some sort. For example, the Design an Alpha contest, Design a Clothing contest, Design a Pet contest, and Design a Hat contest. As a whole, I think the idea of allowing players of your game to design items and have the chance of them being featured in your game is absolutely amazing. But the thing is, with the winners that are being chosen, of course, they're most likely not going to be little kids. Instead, they're going to be artists within the community who do have a little bit more experience with design and artistic ability, which is wonderful. It's a good way to get your art out there and get recognized as an artist. I myself entered and won the Design a Jamagram contest, and my Jamagram is actually in-game to this day. However, I was a little bit disappointed with some of what was going on there, and have been repeatedly disappointed now with some of Animal Jam's contests. Specifically, what it comes to being, without sugarcoating it, art theft. Before I get into this, I do want to preface that on a legal standpoint, Animal Jam is doing absolutely nothing wrong. As per Animal Jam's terms of service, all items within Animal Jam, including stuff like masterpieces, master blocks, and masterworks, are owned legally by WildWorks, the company behind Animal Jam, which means that if you draw something in the Masterpiece program and make it, that piece, that art, legally belongs to WildWorks, which makes sense considering you're using their means to make it, which is also why you can't do commissions for real money using Animal Jam, and why it is against terms of service to make masterpieces or master blocks for real life money. So legally speaking, Animal Jam owns the right to every single piece of art submitted in the contest and every single piece of art ever drawn on Animal Jam. So legally, they're just fine. However, when it comes to morally, they've been doing some things that make a lot of artists like me blood absolutely boil. If you didn't know, within the art community to begin with, art theft is incredibly rampant. People will take other people's art, claim it as their own, trace other people's art, and both company and individuals are almost always willing to take advantage of an artist because unfortunately artists are very easy to be taken advantage of. Now, when it comes to Animal Jam Play Wild, I'd say they definitely started on the right foot. When they did the original Animal Jam clothing design contest, and that's when stuff like the WildWorks beanie and the double dragon wings were introduced, they did an incredible job. A bunch of people were chosen, they were released in stores over time, they were featured in the Jama Journal, and even after the fact the Jama Journal entries had been, pushed out by new news, you still knew who designed the items because the player's username was within the item's name itself. This is also what they do on Animal Jam Classic for their art contests. Items that are put in the game, created by players, will have the player's username in it, so you'll always know who designed the item and that it was not Animal Jam's original idea. This also carried over for the Animal Jam Design a Pet contest, which, if you didn't know, that's where glowworms came from. And if you look at the certificate for adoption for glowworms, you'll see the username of the person who designed the animal, which again is a great way to show respect to the artist who drew the animal. It was after that, however, where I feel like they started taking advantage of their artists a little bit more. Now, I don't know if this was a change in terms of conditions with Animal Jam, or if they just, decided that it wasn't worth their time anymore, but following that, there's two more contests, the Alpha Design Contest and the Hat Design Contest. If you didn't know, the winners of those contests were the floppy bunny ear hat, which were in the diamond shop for a little bit of time, and the alpha item being the starlight wings, which are incredibly popular and go for a lot within Animal Jam. Now, I don't know how those people were reimbursed in-game. I know for the item design contest, the person who won would get, I believe it was 2, 3, 4, something like that, versions of the item they designed with a rare tag, which made them 4 of a kind or whatever. However, I'm not sure if anything happened with these players. As far as I'm aware, the person who designed the floppy bunny hat did not get anything in-game, but they did get their item in-game, which was really cool. However, while they were featured in the Jama Journal for the news, their name was not included in the item that they designed, nor was it included anywhere in-game outside of the news journal, which, gets pushed out as new updates come out, which bothers me quite a bit. Because a lot of players today have absolutely no idea that Animal Jam did not design this item themselves, and that this was actually designed by a player, which in my opinion is pretty scummy. I feel like you should always properly credit your artists. This goes the same thing for the Starlight Wings, which again did win the contest and were put into the game and did have a news about it in the Jamaa Journal, but nowadays almost nobody knows that it was ever designed by a player because the player isn't being credited. It's also worth mentioning that there was a spin-off item made off of this item, being the Starlight Tiara. I have no idea if the artist who made that was given, like, any heads up that they would be designing another item based off the item they designed, but I can't help but get a little bothered that they're continuing to use this person's design and item without continued credit to the artist, but also now making quote-unquote spin-off items based off of it, again, without artist credit. That really, really bothers me. Now, when it comes to the Design a Jamagram contest, which I was affected by, I was really excited for it because I was under the impression that I would have my Jamagram, if I won, put in game, and that I would be credited in some way outside of just the Jamaa Journal. Now, my design won. It was the one with the gliders on it, and I was put in the Jamaa Journal, and for a while it was pretty great. I was happy because people were recognizing my art was getting purchased quite a bit, and it was a good time. However, nowadays, that's it. You can't find my username anywhere. It's not on the Jamagram. It's nowhere near the Jamagram. It's nothing like that. And almost nobody anymore knows that I designed that, even though I have an entire video about it on my page, and I was in the Jamaa Journal. As an artist, it's just a little bit frustrating, and I don't feel like I was being properly credited. I feel like if you're not an artist, you wouldn't understand as well, but I know that I'm not alone in my concerns. And on its own, at the very least, is it a little garbage of them? Yeah, it is a little, it's a little bothersome. However, it's not that big of a deal. I've gotten over it. But what does bother me is them straight up taking the designs that other people have submitted for contests, people that did not win the contest, and putting them in their games anyways, long after the fact, without giving any credit whatsoever. Now, the first time I saw this was like several months ago. I believe it was after the normal clothing design contest, and I saw it on Reddit, and I did look for the post, but I could not find it. I don't remember what item it was, but I do remember that the person was very upset because their item was, I believe, in the clothing shop, that they had designed it, and they weren't given credit. I can't find this post, however, so take it with a grain of salt. However, when I start getting some, more reliable evidence of this is with Brad Stormer. He's a friend of mine and a fellow content creator who, for the Design a Pet contest, made a pet called the Jumping Pumpkins, which was, appropriate for a Halloween theme and really cute. And this was before the pumpkins came to Animal Jam. And for a while, I kind of wrote it off as, pumpkins aren't a super unique idea. They already did pet rocks. They did pet snowmen. So around, at some point, they're going to do pet pumpkin. So I kind of wrote it off as, coincidence. Unfortunate coincidence, yes, but a coincidence nonetheless. But what is most certainly not a coincidence is the item that Icy Zalt designed, which was this really pretty sparkler hat, which I absolutely love the design of, both on the Masterpiece and in-game, which was submitted, I believe, for the Design a Hat contest by them. And it did win, obviously. The person that won the Design a Hat contest with a floppy bunny ear hat. And yet we saw this past 4th of July, this item was introduced in-game, without any mention of who designed it. Not on the Jamaa Journal, not in the news, not in the item's name, nowhere at all. And of course, I feel like, Icy Zalt was way more excited that their item was put in-game than the fact that they weren't credited, but as an artist, that just feels like a really low blow. And now it's making me wonder if, items that I've designed in the past we put in without my permission. And I'd love to have my items in game, but it still, as an artist, just gets under your skin a little bit. And I thought that this would be a weird video to make, but I talked about it on a live stream and other people seemed very upset as well. Like I said earlier, artists are very frequently disrespected, and a lot of the times art as a career and just in general isn't taken very seriously, and a lot of effort goes into designing art. That being said, do let me know what you think, and let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced this or if you know of any other circumstances of this happening. I have heard other people, especially in the comments of Icy Zalt's video, claiming that they had submitted similar designs and stuff like that, specifically in the pet design contest, and the pet has been added, and I am a little bit hesitant to believe that was done out of any sort of knowledge, maybe just coincidence, because, stuff like the fox and the axolotl and whatnot, they're just real-life animals, so it could just be coincidence there. But let me know if you've heard of anything similar happening, let me know if it's happened to yourself, and just generally, let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and don't go after anyone, of course. I'll be linking the YouTube channels in the description below of Icy Zalt and Brad Stormer, so you can go check them out, and I'll see y'all around.